is up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Back with some more Resident Evil Revelations 2 gameplay for you. And today I'm going to be making a culmination of my, hopefully for a little while, last Resident Evil death video. Now, if you haven't been following the channel lately, my last two videos have been talking about Resident Evil and death. My first one talking about an article saying how Chris Redfield needs to die in the next Resident Evil. My last one talking about if I had no choice but to kill one of the 5 OG main Resident Evil characters, that is Chris, Leon, Jill, Claire, and Ada, who would I kill by putting on my perspective of who I think Capcom would kill as well as my own perspective. But now, and I promise you, hopefully it's the last death video for a while, I'm now going to make a video talking about the character I feel like should die. I feel like Resident Evil shouldn't kill one of their major OG characters. I mean major, as I said, the 5 main ones of Leon, Chris, Jill, Ada, and Claire. That's just my personal opinion. But I feel like there is a character that should bite the dust, because I feel like this character has the conditions met for them to have a death and also be impactful at the same time, as well as them satisfying their conditions as a character for this franchise. And it's not like I want them personally to die like I'm hoping they do. I love the character to death, and he is a very beloved character, but I feel like they would be the perfect one to kill. So who am I talking about? Well, don't look too far away, because you're looking at him right now, and that is none other than everyone's favorite BarryBurton. Now, as I said, I love Barry. He's an awesome character. He's one of the OGs. I mean, he's as old as the franchise itself. But if there was a character that I feel like Resident Evil should kill, I feel like it'd be someone that has satisfied all their conditions as a character, because I think that I should lay that out right now. My thing is, everyone's different, but how I look at it is, if you're going to kill an iconic, OG, important, I know Barry's not important in terms of the main 5, but he still is relatively important, and he is relatively loved. He's a beloved character. I mean, you'd be damned some people who don't like Barry compared to people who do, but my point being, my rules for killing an iconic character is, as I said, number 1, they have to satisfy the conditions of their character. Like, they have to basically be someone who has done what their purpose of a character is supposed to be. And I feel like Barry has satisfied that. He's kind of like, this may be a weird comparison here, but I look at Barry to the Resident Evil franchise as I look at like someone like a Barrett Wallace to Final Fantasy VII. Like, he's got that mean looking exterior, but inside he's a cute cuddly teddy bear. But he will do everything and anything for his family, and he's definitely someone you want on your side. He's definitely someone that will have your support, and he'll have you laughing at him too, but also has a lot of emotional moments too, things you can get behind. So Barry's an easy character to love. As I said, it's just about damn near impossible to hate him. I know they're probably out there, but I mean, who can really hate BarryBurton? But in terms of him being a character, as I remember in the first Resident Evil, he was there, and obviously being blackmailed by Wesker, which probably hurt him more ways than one, because not just because he's trying to protect his family, but him going against his own team members who he values so highly. He was stuck in a rock and a hard place, but still was able to get out of that. And not to mention his obvious adventures in Revelations 2, the game we're watching right now, him trying to reconnect with his daughter. But the point I'm trying to make here is that Barry's probably at that point where there's not really much you can do with him. Now, yeah, you could retire him, have him live out his life happy, and I have no problem with that if that's what they decide to do. But I also feel like Resident Evil, as I said, I do feel like they need a major death. An actual major death that's going to send shockwaves throughout the characters, and not just fans, but the characters throughout Resident Evil. I mean, I remember talking about personally, like, what if someone like a Clara died, it affect a lot of characters in Resident Evil, and it would. But I feel like Barry's might even hit a little bit harder within the Resident Evil characters, just from the fact that he's got perspectives that only he can understand. Like, if Barry dies, it's not just the people that have worked alongside Barry that are going to feel sad, and that's going to result in people like Chris, Claire, Jill. I know you have the whole non-canon, Resident Evil Gaiden with him and Leon and shit. But you're going to have a lot of people that have ties to Barry, and not just ties to Barry, but also Barry and the BSA. They're going to feel very upset over his death. But not only that, you're also going to have the perspective of people in his own family in this case, his daughters, and especially Mora, they're going to be really upset after they just had the opportunity to reconnect with him. That would have a huge effect on him. So my point being is that Barry's death would not only upset a lot of people just because they worked with him, but also people within his own family and stuff. And I feel like having a daughter, being upset of their parent dying might be more tragic, just because the daughter's still kind of young and stuff compared to maybe siblings who are kind of get their age too. But my point being is that Barry is so beloved and loved. It just, because I don't feel like most people would think they would ever get rid of someone like him, because he is just that lovable kind of teddy bear. But I feel like that's why it would hit so much. But also because I don't know what more you can do with Barry. He's kind of getting up there in age, and that's another thing. He's old. Like Barry's really old. Like I always joke about, man, I'm getting old. Barry's old. Barry's as old as the franchise, and he was already kind of getting up there when he first debuted. So he's kind of at that point where retirement, he might already be in retirement. As I said, if they want to stick with that, and that's what they do with Barry, I have no problem with that. But I just feel like if there were one other thing he could do to really make an impact in the franchise, they might have to resort to possibly killing him. It's not, as I said, because I have anything against Barry. I don't. I love him, but I feel like that would be the last thing he could give, is ultimately his life. But ultimately, I have another reason why, and I think this is an obvious reason, and I think a lot of you guys can see where I'm going with this. And that is the fact that we still have the whole elephant in the room. And Capcom, until you address this, people are still going to think this, and maybe you have no plan to doing anything like this, but now this be terrible, but you still have the huge elephant in the room, and I mean the big elephant living in Barry's own household, and that is the whole Natalia Alex Wesker situation. I mean, once again, you ended the game this way. You ended the game a very specific way in Revelations 2, and the fact that Barry took Natalia as his own daughter in his own home, and you have this person basically having Alex Wesker's inside of her, it's like, what else do you want us to think? You set this whole scene up purposely, and there's got to be a payoff to it. Like, what would be the point? Like, if you didn't want anything to happen from it, you wouldn't have done all that. That's the one thing I've always tried to question, is why would you even have something that big of a deal just end? And maybe you've been waiting all this time for it to build up. I've had the theory, and it could be just a theory of just saying, like, hey, maybe they've waited till Natalia grows up, so where she's at least an adult, so maybe she could, I don't know, possibly infiltrate the BSA. And that's just me coming up with theories of why the BSA has gone rogue. It could be completely different, or they completely forget it. Hopefully they will address this, but I feel like if Barry were to die, I could just see it just coming from Alex, possessed Natalia as she grows up, and just either kills him. Maybe he never saw it coming. Maybe she just murders him in his own home, or maybe while he's on a job. Maybe he brings her there. Maybe she wants to become someone in the organization itself. Yada, yada, yada. Maybe he sees it, but he's too late to stop it, and that's how he dies. But either way, I just see an Alex possessed Natalia eventually being his death, which would kind of hit hard because this was someone that he adopted and brought in as his own daughter, and kind of having that be the reason why he dies would kind of be a messed up way, but it'll also tie a bunch of things together. And that's the one thing I'm trying to do, is tie things together, have things make sense, because it would also, tie the whole BSA storyline going rogue and stuff. So, but once again, that's just me come up with theories and stuff. None of those things could be connected at all. And knowing Capcom, they probably none of them are going to happen anyway, because it's just, they just don't give me any reason to hope that they could. But who knows? Maybe I'll be proven wrong one day. But yeah, as I said, I just feel like a death to Barry would be the perfect combination of having someone iconic, but not too much where I feel like it would probably affect the franchise in a negative way, of someone dying, and also giving a little bit of just like, hey, not everyone is as invincible as we all thought. Because I know a lot of people feel like, and I feel the same way, I don't feel like any of the major OGs will ever bite the dust, but I feel like Barry is probably the perfect character to take the bullet for everyone, and it'd be sad and upsetful to watch it, because I like Barry a lot, but at the end of the day, I feel like he's gonna be the right character because of his age, as well as the whole setup with the whole Alex and Natalia to be the person that takes the shot, or in this case, the RPG right to the face. To this maybe add a little bit of, oh crap, someone could possibly die in this franchise and not just be invincible and unstoppable. But that's just my opinion, as I always like to say. If I had to possibly kill any of the characters, or they're all on the table, I want to hear your guys' opinion in all this. If one character in the franchise, I know last video I told you the 5 OG, but if any character was on the table and you could kill anyone and you could set it up how you want to do it, however you want to do it, who would it be and why? And which character do you think you would do? Which one do you think would have the biggest impact, as well as just not hurting the franchise? Because I know they're probably not going to ever ice their iconic characters, but let me know down in the comment section down below. But thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and hopefully I can see you guys back in the next one. Thanks, and I'll see you all later. Peace.